Hello my dear children, good morning to all. Once again, welcome back to class 11 microeconomics revision class. So in the last class, we have discussed about the important questions of chapter 3. So now we are going to discuss about the important questions in chapter 1 and 2, that is introduction and consumer behavior. Let us start our session. So we know that in first chapter we have to study the central problem of an economy. It is very important question. Central problem of an economy. Okay. So production, exchange and consumption of goods and services are the basic economic activities of life. So we know that our resources are limited and our human wants are unlimited. Due to this problem of choice, so scarcity and the problem of choice is the important problem that faced by every economy. So this problem can be broadly classified into three heads, that is what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. So if it is 6-mark question, you have to explain each of these problems, that is what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. So it is very important questions. Then this chapter deals with the branches of economics, different branches of economics. So the important branches of economics are microeconomics and macroeconomics. And what are the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics? Microeconomics is the study of individual economic unit of an economy. That is a sugar industry, a firm, a household, etc. It is deals with individual unit, whereas macroeconomics is the study of economy as a whole. And microeconomics derived from the Greek word micros, and which means small. Then macroeconomics derived from the Greek word macros, which means large. Then there are different types of microeconomic variables like demand of commodity, supply of commodity, income of a consumer, price of the commodity, etc. And also the microeconomic theories are law of demand, law of supply, determination of consumer equilibrium, determination of producer equilibrium, etc. So, but in macroeconomics, there are different variables like aggregate supply, aggregate demand, national income, total output, etc. And the macroeconomic theories are determination of macroeconomics theories are determination of equilibrium level of income, determination of foreign exchange rate, determination of government budget, etc. So these are the difference between micro and macroeconomics. And microeconomics is also known as price theory, whereas macroeconomics is also known as income theory. Okay. Then the next one, the economic analysis, the scope of economics. So there is positive economics and normative economics. So positive economics deals with things as they are. That means it is empirically tested. It has evidence. So such economics, such statements are known as positive statements or positive economic analysis. For example, there is a poverty in India. It's a right statement. Or $1 can be exchanged for 30. It is wrong answer. So here they can verify it and test whether it is true or false. Then it is based upon facts that are not suggestive in nature. It deals with a realistic situation. Then normative science or normative economic analysis means it is tell us what ought to be. This tell how economic problems should be solved. So it is an idealistic situation. It is cannot be empirically verified. These are suggestive in nature. It is just a suggestion. Unemployment is better than poverty. It cannot empirically tested, but at the same time it is suggestive in nature. Unemployment is better than poverty. rich poor should be taxed more. So these are the example for normative science. So these three questions are very important from first chapter. You have to study only this. So these are very important from first chapter. Then we are moving to second chapter, that is consumer behavior. So first question, slope of budget line is option A, marginal opportunity cost, marginal rate of substitution, market rate of exchange, or D, all of the above. So here the B, marginal rate of substitution, MRS, is the slope of indifference curve. Then marginal opportunity cost is the slope of PPC curve. So market rate of exchange is the slope of budget line. So slope of budget line is market rate of exchange. And indifference curve is what? Convex or concave or straight line, or none of the above. Indifference curve is convex to origin. Indifference curve is convex to origin. An indifference schedule represents various bundles that give dashed level of satisfaction. Okay. Equal level of satisfaction or same level of satisfaction. So indifference curve schedule represents various bundles that give equal level of satisfaction. Then next question, if a consumer has monotonic preference, which bundle would be preferred by him? About this 12, 8, 12, 12, 10, 6, 8, 12. Which is the correct answer? What is monotonic preference? That he gave more amount of commodity to satisfy his what? More amount. That is known as monotonic preference. So a consumer will choose option B, 12, 12, because here he will get 12 unit of commodity X and 12 unit of commodity Y. Okay, so this is the monotonic preference. Then ninth one, the equation of budget line is. The equation of budget line. What is the equation of budget line? Expenditure on X plus expenditure on one commodity, first commodity, plus expenditure on second commodity is equal to income of the consumer. So here first option Px x1 plus P2 x2 is equal to M, or second option is less than or equal to M. Third option is greater than M. Then none of the above. So what is the equation of budget line? Is equal to P1 x1 plus P2 x2 is equal to M. That is the correct answer. Then if MRS is increasing throughout, the indifference curve will be downward sloping concave. So MRS is the slope of indifference curve. So if MRS is increasing throughout, that means downward sloping, we will get downward sloping concave indifference curve. Okay. But normally indifference curves are convex to origin, because marginal rate of substitution decreasing throughout. Okay, according to law of diminishing marginal utility, MRS is decreasing normally. But here the question is, if MRS is increasing throughout, the indifference curve will be downward sloping concave. The next question, consumer equilibrium through indifference curve analysis is based on which one? Cardinal or ordinal? It is ordinal utility analysis. Cardinal utility analysis is total utility, marginal utility, etc. But consumer equilibrium through indifference curve analysis is based upon ordinal utility analysis. Next one, a consumer prefer to buy more of Y as compared to X when that is mu of X divided by price of X less than mu of Y divided by price of Y. So here mu of X, that is satisfaction derived from X, is greater than satisfaction derived from commodity Y. So a consumer prefer to buy more of Y as compared to X. Okay. His satisfaction is very high for commodity Y. So he will buy more when mu of x is greater than mu of x is less than mu of Y. Okay. Then the situation of consumer equilibrium, mu of x less than price mu of x divided by price of x greater than mu of y divided by price of y arises. So due to increase in price of good y, the situation of consumer equilibrium arises when due to increase in price of commodity y. Then as per determination of consumer equilibrium theory, in order to arrive at consumer equilibrium, a consumer can change the quantities of both the goods. As per determination of consumer equilibrium theory, in order to arrive at consumer equilibrium, a consumer can change the quantity of both the goods. Okay. Then next, consumer behavior. There are ordinal and cardinal utility theory. So here we have consumer equilibrium through cardinal utility theory. So what is utility? It is a quantitative measure of satisfaction. So you can expect one-word questions or define the following. So what define utility? It is a quantitative measure of satisfaction. Then also it is the one satisfying power of a commodity. Then characteristics of utilities are: utility depend upon urgency or intensity of want. Utility is subjective. Utility is measurable, that is we can measure in cardinal and ordinal way. Then utility is not essential, useful. These are the characteristics of utility. Then law of diminishing marginal utility. This is very important question. Law of diminishing marginal utility. According to this law, the marginal utility derived from additional unit goes on falling, goes on decreasing. The utility derived from each successive unit falls. Then also you have to write the assumptions of law of DMU and also the diagram and table. You have to write the table and also draw the diagram. So law of diminishing marginal utility is very important. Consumer equilibrium. There are two types of consumer equilibrium: ordinal consumer and cardinal consumer equilibrium. In cardinal way, there are three types of equilibrium, that is equilibrium of consumer for single commodity and consumer of equilibrium for different commodity with same price and also different price. So that is the three types of equilibrium in cardinal way. Then in ordinal way is consumer equilibrium calculated or measured by indifference curve and also budget line. So you have to study what is indifference curve and what is budget line, and also you have to explain consumer equilibrium with the help of diagram. So this is the consumer equilibrium diagram with ordinal utility analysis. Ordinal, it is ordinal utility. Indifference curve analysis is otherwise known as ordinal utility analysis, and you have to draw the diagram also. Then demand, the main aspects of demand. What do you mean by demand curve? What are its types? So we know that demand curve is graphical presentation of negative relation between price and quantity demanded of a commodity, other thing being equal. It is two types: individual demand curve and market demand curve. Then here also explain how law of diminishing marginal utility causes inverse relation between price and demand. So this law states that satisfaction derived from consumption of successive unit goes on falling. Therefore, we are preparing to pay lesser. Hence, more unit will be demanded only at lower price. Then also there is a new product launched by mobile manufacturing unit. Consumer like this brand very much. How will affect the demand curve of this new product? So here there is an increase in demand, shift in demand curve to rightward, because here the demand changes. The changes occurred in demand due to other factors, that is taste and preference, other than price. So it will shift into right. Okay. Then the next is demand function or factor affecting or determinants of demand. The demand function explains the relationship between demand for commodity and the factor determining commodity. So we know that there are two types of demand, individual demand and market demand. So determinants of individual demand are price of the commodity, PR, price of related goods, income, Y means income of the consumer, taste and preference of the consumer, and expectation about future. Then the determinants of market demand functions are price of related goods, income of the consumer, taste and preference, expectation about future. That is same as individual demand function. Then apart from these five, there are number of consumer in a market, then income distribution, then season. This also affect the market demand for a commodity. So these are the determinants of demand, or it otherwise known as demand function. The next is law of demand. Law of demand is very important because law of demand and law of supply both are same, but one is about demand, another one is about supply. So law of demand state that there is a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded of a consumer commodity, assuming other factor affecting demand to constant. That is, other thing being equal, quantity demanded of commodity is inversely related to price of the commodity. That is, if quantity of commodity falls, if price of commodity rise, and when price falls, the quantity demanded of commodity rises. Okay, so that is law of demand. So if we ask law of demand, you have to draw the diagram of demand curve, or if it is law of supply, we have to you have to draw the diagram of supply. So what is law of supply? It states that there is a positive relationship between quantity supplied and price of the commodity. That is, one is downward sloping curve. Demand is downward sloping curve and supply is upward sloping curve. Okay. Then it is very important, elasticity of demand, and in third chapter there is elasticity of supply. So both are very important. So here elasticity of demand means it is determined by many factors like change in its own price, income of the consumer, price of related goods, etc. So we know that the determinants of demand. So elasticity of demand refers to percentage change in demanded of a commodity due to percentage change in any of the factor affecting demand of that commodity. Okay. So that is elasticity of demand. So here we have to study only price elasticity of demand. So that is percentage change in demanded of a commodity due to percentage change in price. That is price elasticity of demand. Then there are different kinds of price elasticity: perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary elastic, greater than unitary elastic, less than unitary elastic. So if it's high mark question, you have to explain each of them. That is perfectly elastic with the help of diagrams. Okay, perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary elastic, greater than unitary elastic, less than unitary elastic, etc. These are the 5 degrees of price elasticity of demand. These are the degrees of price elasticity of supply also. Perfectly elastic supply, perfectly inelastic supply, unitary elastic supply, greater than unitary elastic supply, less than unitary elastic supply. So you have to explain these. Okay. Then you can expect one assertion reason question. So what is assertion reason question? There is an example. So assertion, it is a statement. Assertion means it is a statement. A change in quantity demanded of one commodity due to a change in price of other commodity is cross elasticity. So we know that there are different kinds of elasticity: price elasticity, income elasticity, and cross elasticity. So what is cross elasticity? A change in quantity demanded of one commodity due to a change in the price of other commodity is cross elasticity. So is this statement is true or false? Whether it is true or false? It is true. This statement is true. That is, a change in quantity demanded of one commodity due to a change in the price of other commodity is cross elasticity. So this is true statement, and there is reason. That is, a change in consumer income leads to change in the quantity demanded. Consumer income, it is income elasticity. So the statement reasoning is true, but what? It is not the correct explanation of assertion, because assertion is about cross elasticity. It is different statement. Then reasoning is given as what? Income, given about income elasticity. So both statement are true. That is, assertion and reasoning are true statement, but R is, that is, reasoning is not the correct explanation of A. So options are A is true but R is false. So that is wrong answer, because A and R are true. Okay, here A and R are true, but R is not correct the explanation of A. So the fourth option is true. Both A and R are true. R is not the correct explanation of A. Okay. So this is the assertion reasoning type question. So there will be assertion and also reasoning. Both are statements. Both are statement, but at the same time you have to check the reasoning is the correct explanation of assertion. Okay. So that was today's session. So students, this is the last class for microeconomic revisions. So next is your examination. So students, best of luck for your examination. So children, bye. See you.